The galaxy was a vast and tumultuous place, a realm teeming with ancient civilizations, advanced technology, and power struggles between countless species. For millennia, the Galactic Council had acted as the governing body that managed diplomacy, trade, and conflict resolution across countless star systems. However, in the darkest corners of space, a new conflict was brewing, one that threatened to engulf all known races in an unimaginable war. And the cause of this new threat was humanity. The Galactic Council had never been concerned with the humans of Earth. The primitive species had remained isolated for centuries, only beginning to explore the stars in the last few hundred years. For the most part, humanity had been relegated to a minor role in the galaxy, a small and relatively harmless species. But now, that perception was being shattered. In the Grand Council chamber, where delegates from hundreds of species gathered to discuss matters of galactic importance, the once feared consul now stood in fear. The room, filled with towering reptilian beings, energy-based life forms, and artificially enhanced humanoids, was unusually quiet. At the center of it all stood Rayon, a representative of the once powerful Kylith Empire. He was the one who had brought the troubling news to the consul. Humanity was no longer a species to be ignored. Honored consul, Rayon's voice echoed through the chamber, sharp and cold. The Terran Federation has just completed its first successful superluminal drive experiment, a feat we believed was decades away. If humanity is able to harness this technology, it will not only upend the balance of power within the galaxy, it will make Earth a dominant force in a matter of years. A wave of uneasy murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Terran Federation, humanity's governing body, was still seen as young and naive, a species with a thirst for knowledge but little understanding of galactic history. Now, they were on the brink of becoming a powerful force in the galaxy, and the galaxy's most powerful factions were terrified. "What exactly do you propose?" asked Krikra, an ancient being whose race had outlasted the rise and fall of entire star empires. Her voice was steady, but her eyes flickered with suspicion. Rayon's response was immediate, his gaze fixed on the glowing symbols that hovered above the Council's main table. "We must ensure that humanity is kept out of this war. The Kylith Empire has no intention of letting a species like theirs upset the order we have maintained for millennia. If we do not contain them, they will lead the galaxy into a conflict unlike anything we have ever seen." The rest of the council listened intently, but one voice remained silent. It was the voice of the consul, the very one that had historically commanded the greatest respect in the galaxy. The leader of the Galactic Council was known as Aurelis, a being composed of sentient light, capable of perceiving all of the galaxy's energy flows in ways others could not comprehend. "I disagree," Aurelis finally spoke, her voice soft but resolute. "I believe humanity's emergence is not a threat, but an opportunity." The other members of the council turned to her, eyes wide with disbelief. The once untouchable consul was siding with the very species that was shaking the foundations of their control. Humans have a unique potential, one that even we cannot fully grasp yet. They are resourceful, adaptable, and have already shown a profound capacity for innovation. While we may fear them now, we cannot ignore the fact that their growth is inevitable. To keep Earth out of this war is not only short-sighted, it is a denial of the very nature of the universe itself. Change is constant. We must learn to adapt, not resist it. Rayon clenched his fists, frustration mounting. "And how do you propose we deal with the threat they pose? You think we should simply stand by while they advance? If we wait too long, they will be the ones who dictate terms to us. The Terran Federation will overtake us all, and we will be powerless to stop them." "Then perhaps it is time," Aurelis said calmly, "to rethink our understanding of power. If the Terran Federation rises, it does not necessarily mean the downfall of the rest of us. If anything, it could mean the beginning of a new era of collaboration." but only if we are willing to move past the old ways of thinking. Kreekra's elongated neck craned forward. But their history is filled with violence, war, and conflict. They have waged brutal wars against themselves. What makes you think they won't bring that same destruction to the galaxy? Aurelius did not falter. Yes, humanity has a violent history, but it is also a history of survival, of overcoming adversity. They have fought wars within their own species, but they have also been a force for growth, for progress. Every species in the galaxy has their flaws. Some are just better at hiding them than others. If the Terran Federation can learn to harness their potential for peace rather than conflict, they could become the greatest ally we've ever had. Rayan's anger was palpable. You are naive, Ares. They are unpredictable. Their recent actions, this superluminal drive experiment, prove that they are beyond our control. And that is the problem. They will not be like us. We cannot allow them to interfere. But the consul was not deterred. We do not control the galaxy, Rayan. We guide it. And to guide it successfully, we must accept change, not fear it. Humanity is a young species, and while they are capable of great destruction, they are also capable of remarkable creation. What if, just what if, the Terran Federation could lead us into an age of cooperation, rather than division? A deep silence settled over the council chamber. The members of the council, from the ancient Kaolith to the younger and more volatile species, were forced to reconsider their position. The prospect of humanity's rise was undeniably daunting, but it was also full of potential. Rayan, his jaw clenched tight, knew that the council was not going to act as he wished. The Terran Federation would not be kept out of the war. In fact, they might just become the key to a new future, whether the galaxy was ready for it or not. The question now was not whether humanity would be involved in this war, but whether the galaxy was ready to face the consequences of their ascent. Let us not forget, Aurelius said, her voice steady and unwavering. The stars do not belong to any one species. They belong to all of us. If we cannot find a way to work together, then we will fall apart. And if that happens, the Terran Federation will not be the only one to suffer. Rayan stood silent, knowing there was no stopping the inevitable. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity, for better or worse, would be at the center of it. The consul's decision had been made. The war was not only inevitable, it had already begun. But what the galaxy failed to realize was that humanity wasn't merely a participant in this conflict. They would redefine what it meant to be a part of the galaxy, and in doing so, they would shape the future of all species, whether the galaxy was ready for it or not. As the council meeting ended, Aurelius watched as the representatives filed out. She knew that a new chapter was beginning, and humanity, despite their flaws, was now the driving force behind it. The stars had shifted, and nothing would ever be the same again.